So today we're going to look at doing two different problems. When we did it on Wednesday, we did 2-digit by 1-digit division. So today we're going to do a 3-digit by 1-digit, and we're going to do a 4-digit by 1-digit. All right, so at the top of my paper, I'm going to write my steps again, so I know the very first thing I'm going to have to do each time will be to divide. The next step I will do will be to multiply. The third step I'm going to do is to subtract. And then the fourth step, if I have to do it, is to bring down the next number that I'm going to be working with. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to start with today. So I would like to do 454 as my dividend, and I'm going to divide by 3, so my divisor will be 3. So 454 divided by 3. Okay? And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go digit by digit. So we look at this very first digit, this 4 right here, and we say, is 4 bigger than 3? Yes. So I can divide by 3. And when I do it, I'm going to say 4 divided by 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count my multiples of 3, and I'm going to see how close I can get to 4. So I'm going to say 3, and then 6, and 6 is too big, so I'm going to take the very first multiple of 3. Okay? So I'm going to take the first multiple. And I'm going to put that 1 right up here above the 4 because the digit 4 is what I'm working with. And then I'm going to do my multiplication step. So I take my multiple, 1 times my divisor, 3 equals 3, and that is my multiplication step. So I'm going to do it right here. 1 times 3 is 3, and then I'm going to subtract. So 4 minus 3 is my subtraction step. So these should match. This step and this step should match. And when I do 4 minus 3, I get a 1. So my answer is 1 right there. So now I'm going to stop and I'm going to say my next step is to bring down. Do I have any more digits underneath this tent that I can bring down? Yes, I can bring down my 5. So now the number I'm working with is now going to be 15, because that is now what I am dealing with, because this is what is underneath my new tent. So I'm going to draw a little squiggly line because I'm going to start my process all the way over again. And I'm starting with 15. So I say 15 divided by 3. It's the very first thing I'm going to do because I'm going to start with this. So 15 divided by 3. I'm going to start counting by 3s, and I'm going to find my multiple that's going to get me the closest to it. So I say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So when I do that, my exact multiple is the 5th one. And I take my multiple and I put it above the line. So if you've noticed that everything after the equal sign is what actually is being used. So I take my 5 and I put it up on top of the 5 that I brought down. And then I say, I'm going to take my multiple and I'm going to check it. So 5 times my divisor of 3 is 15. And your multiplication should always be a fact family multiplication. So then I'm going to write my 15 directly under my 15 so that I can subtract. So 15 minus 15 is 0, and that is my subtraction step. And so now I'm going to go back up to my original number and say, is there another digit under my tenth that I can bring down? And there is. There's this 4, so I bring it all the way down. And I have that 4. So I am bringing down my 4. Whoops. And that is my bring down step. And because this number is still bigger than this number, I am going to go ahead and divide again. So here's my squiggly line, saying that I am going to repeat this process. So now this should match this up here. So I have 4 divided by 3 is still 1, because we had a 4 and a 4, so I can use that. And this is my division step. So that 1, that multiple of 3, that first multiple, that 1 goes above the 4 because that is the number I dropped down. And then I say 1, because that's my multiple, times my divisor. 1 times 3 is 3, and that is my multiplication step. And so I put my 3 right here so that I can subtract. So I say 4 minus 3 is 1. And I go back up to my main tent. Are there any numbers to bring down? No. So that means whatever is left should be smaller than your divisor. This becomes my remainder. And remember, our remainder can be written like this, or you can take your remainder and put it over your divisor to make it a fraction.